Hey everybody, welcome to DadsDen of Pop Culture and Mighty Thor Monday. And yes, I almost got the title of my own channel wrong there for just a moment. There was a little hesitation. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? What I'm doing is looking at the Mighty Thor number 366 from April of 1986. Still 75 cents. That was the price of comics when I started buying them. What do you call a 6'6" fighting mad frog? Answer inside. So this is continuing and in fact ending the little Thunder Frog saga from Walt Simonson. By the way, Walt Simonson, art and story, John Workman, lettering, Max Scheele, colors, Ralph Macchio, editing, Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief, as Thor in this frog form on his chariot, drawn by Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder, heads through the cosmic maelstrom back to Asgard. This was all part of a plot of Loki, of course, to get Thor out of the way so he could become, using spells and such, the new king of Asgard. How was he accomplishing this? Why hadn't he just done it before? Well, he was using the sword of Surtur. He had constructed some sort of an engine that was siphoning off its power, and he was using that power to do things he had not been able to do in the past. So while Thor is traveling, we see Loki in his great hall entertaining a guest. Who could that be? Well, if you've been following these Mighty Thor Mondays, or if you just read these books back in the day, you can probably figure out who that is that he's talking to. And he says, things might not work out here, but I might be able to use you. We'll see. He thinks he has it all figured out. Meanwhile, Heimdall and his fellow conspirators talk. They are using Hurricane, the head of the Einherjar, who is an almost perfect double for Thor, to imitate Thor while he is gone. They're trying to bide time, basically, to figure out what Loki's up to and stop him. Volstagg was supposed to find the sword because his daughter, adopted daughter, Hildy, had stumbled upon it with some of her brothers and sisters. It is in this valley, but Loki has hidden it from people's view. You have to get close to it in order to see it. Well, she has come down with a fever, a sickness. And cowbell is not going to help this. And he's been worried about her. But he realizes now that Loki is involved. And so while the others go off to do what they're going to do, Volstagg decides he must find this sword with Hildy in tow. And he thinks that's the only way he's going to find a cure for her. I like this image, by the way, up here of Volstagg. Now, Volstagg is a braggart. Volstagg is Falstaff from Shakespeare. He's big and he's loud and jolly, but he's also a braggart and is generally portrayed as something of a coward. He's not the warrior he claims to be, but that face, that is determination. His little girl is being hurt by Loki, and he says, I will kill him with my own hands if she dies. And you know what? I think he's right. At least I think he'd try. So he marches off to try to find that sword and end whatever's happening to his daughter. And the Alting, meanwhile, is back in session with the false Thor. Now, Loki has a plan. Now, we saw last issue, Loki found out that this was really Hurricane in disguise. And so he cast a spell on the fake Mjolnir that he was wielding. And so what does he do? He says, yes, I've been treacherous, I've been a trickster, I've been all these things, but I stood between Surtur and the eternal flame, and I discovered how valuable Asgard truly is. I am now worthy to be your king. And as proof, he picks up, or really takes from Hurricane, Mjolnir. And the crowd is like, he picks up Mjolnir. He must be worthy. And he throws Mjolnir, and he's cast spells on it so that Mjolnir is going to come back to him. And he's waiting. He's like, it's kind of taking a little bit longer. What? And something streaks down out of the sky and it snatches Loki away. Of course, we know what that something is. It is Thor. He has returned, and he is a giant frog. Well, the people are like, What's happened? Loki's been stolen away. Heimdall says, yeah, I think I know what that was. I better get to Loki and before everybody else does. He says, Hurricane, you get out of that Thor costume. I think we're done with this masquerade. And so Heimdall rides off to go intercept this thing that has stolen Loki away. Meanwhile, in Hell, the realm of Hela, Curse has arrived, and Curse wants to destroy Malekith, and in the process, he's destroying Hell. And Hela says, I'll warrant this is more of Thor's work. But when this curse is driven forth, I shall turn my attention to the god of thunder, and I will be revenged. Would that I had slain him on the spot when he first rode into hell. And oh yes, there is more coming from Hela. This is not over between her and Thor, and what she does is going to have an impact for quite a while in the comics. Thor arrives here, throws Loki to the ground. Buddy, you have crossed the line. Of course, Loki's still laughing, what should we call you? Perhaps Mighty Frog of Thunder? Huh? Oh yeah, he's yucking it up. He doesn't realize just how angry Thor is, though, at the moment, but he starts figuring it out. So he decides to cast a spell. Remember, he's still tapping into all that power from that sword. So he starts to cast a spell that will shift Thor's mind back to that of a frog. And it sort of works. But he is so angry, he is so enraged, he is so determined to destroy Loki that as he loses his mind, it doesn't stop the attacks. And Loki realizes that he is in a bit of trouble, in trying to grasp the scepter of power. I may have doomed myself. Meanwhile, somewhere in Asgard, Volstagg and his daughter have found the sword and the weird engine that is drawing power from it. And he can't believe it. He's like, this might be even too big for the great Volstagg to destroy. One wonders if Volstagg really was a brave warrior a long time ago, or if it's all just been nonsense. You never quite know for sure. I haven't read enough of the old tales of Asgard to see if they did portray him differently, when Thor was young. But at any rate, so he sees that Hildy is fading fast, and they do believe the sword or this engine of power is what's doing it, and he feels it as well. And he's dizzy, and he kind of leans on this little column of stones, which starts an avalanche. And the avalanche destroys the magical engine and kind of buries the sword, or at least part of it, as well. So somehow, the great Volstagg has managed to destroy the sword, and he instantly feels better, as does his daughter. So that's wonderful. And I just, one of the things I love about Volstagg, for all the nonsense, he is one of the truly great family men of comics. And I mean, he has a big family too. I guess if you're immortal, you just, nothing's slowing you down. But this also ends the spell on Thor. He returns back to his normal form. And about that time, everybody shows up, including Heimdall. Well, Loki thinks, okay, all right, not going exactly as well as I would like, but I may still be able to twist this to my own use. And so he starts speaking. He's got spells on him to make him more persuasive. He's going to start talking to everybody before Thor can say anything. And Thor says, oh, but surely your words would carry more weight if you held this. And he tosses the real Mjolnir to Loki. What? Oh, fig. Loki hits the ground. Can't hold it aloft. And everybody's like, oh, what's going on? Have we been tricked again by Loki? And Thor actually speaks up for his brother. He basically honestly lies here and says, well, that demon that attacked him must have rubbed off on him and has made him seem unworthy. We don't need to all destroy Loki. And this is a really kind of cool scene because what we get is Thor saying, look, I have returned. I have had some time to heal from my wounds that I suffered from Hela. And he removes the covering to show them his scarred face. Because, I'm not going to lie to you. This is what I look like now. And I proudly bear these scars that I got from Hela for the quest that I went on. And in this scene, he basically says, look, I am here to renounce my claim on the throne of Asgard. I have always been the presumed heir, but I am a god of two worlds. Odin, my father, from Asgard, Jord, my mother, from Midgard. I am the protector of Midgard, and I would not want to leave it defenseless. There are about 400 other superheroes there, but also about 4,000 supervillains, so you get the idea. So he says, I renounce the throne. I think, though, there is one person who is more noble than I, worthy of the throne. Balder the Brave. I think we should all name Balder the Brave the next king of Asgard. Now, this does have roots in Norse mythology. After Ragnarok, when just about all the gods have been killed, one god was not killed, and that was Balder, because Balder was in hell from, when Loki tricked his brother Hoder into killing him using the mistletoe. And Balder reemerges from hell to become the new king of the gods at that point. So it's this whole solar cycle kind of concept because Balder was a sun god. So Balder, everybody agrees, Balder is the guy for sure. Loki says, well, Balder is in Nornland. Maybe somebody better go get him because maybe he's found better things to do. Of course, referring to Karnilla. So Hogun says, I will go get him. And he heads off. We await your return eagerly, Grim One. Ride safely. What do we get here from Loki? This is the perfect indie panel of anything involving Loki. Is him scheming, his back to everybody, doing what Loki does best. But not too quickly, Hogun. For my spies have told me of the fate of Balder the Brave. Now, this is during the Balder the Brave series, and we've covered the first 3 issues, not the last one. I know what happens. Maybe you guys don't. But anyways, the fate of Balder, well, the fate of Balder wasn't necessarily written in stone at that point. And before he returns to Asgard, Loki may yet wrest a victory from this defeat. 'Tis not quite as I would wish, but we do what we can in this world. And Heimdall himself has given me the idea. Well, what idea has Heimdall given? What did Heimdall just do? He had somebody masquerading as Thor. Maybe that's the idea. Next, the king is dead. Long live the king. Or is it the other way around? So that is the surprise sort of announcement that happens at the end of Balder the Brave number 4, which is why I had not covered it yet. But it is Hogun arriving to tell him he has been elected king of Asgard and must come with him immediately. Obviously, there's more to the book than that. So next time around, we will be covering, finally, Balder the Brave number 4. I just didn't want to give that bit away there instead of letting it unfold in the main Thor comic book. What a cover. I'm telling you what. It's fun. Okay. So now we know what's happened next. This now launches the next phase of Simonson's wonderful run on Thor, which is, Balder taking the throne, Loki's machinations, Hela's machinations. Yeah, we're going through a lot of reverberations from that initial storyline. And then the follow-up of Thor going to hell. Great stuff, epic stuff. But each story has, repercussions that keep on going through the series. And the repercussions on Thor are going to be very, very serious, which you shall see. So that'll do it for this one, folks. Thor number 366. Let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them as well. If you enjoyed this review or Mighty Thor Mondays, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, maybe subscribe to the channel, maybe share with a friend. We're doing Walt Simonson's Thor in 2026 till the end of the year. And then we're going to shift to something else on Mondays in 2027. And I don't know what that is. I haven't decided yet. I have ideas. I probably have announced it at some time in the past, and now I'm wishy-washy about it. But we'll see. As we get closer, I'll decide what we're going to look at on Mondays next year. But for now, we're doing Walt Simonson Thor. So like, subscribe, share, blah, blah, blah. Until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And hopefully I will see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.